Let's start off. It was Saturday night, about 8:30 outside of the New Amsterdam Theater on 42nd off of 7th Avenue. Hundreds of people walking by, mostly tourists. And two NYPD police officers, a lieutenant and a patrolman, are trying to herd the Venezuelans who live right down the block in what used to be the world's largest McDonald's, although it never made a penny. It was only there for signage. They sold at a loss. But during COVID, it was closed. And then, naturally, Eric Adams converted it to a hotel for the illegal aliens. That's where they live. So they were arrested and given disappearance tickets, desk appearance tickets. Now, Nancy, who has been a criminal defense attorney in Kings County and is an attorney and does the deep dive. That's how we're able to come up with all the information that nobody else has. Sort of take us through the process of what you've been able to find so far from the arresting officers to the determination to cut him loose with a disappearance ticket, what we know.
Okay, so it seems like the initial charges against several of the people. Now, gang assault is the biggest charge that they have because the assault that they did, anytime you have people, three or more, who attack someone, that right away falls under the purview of gang assault. So you had almost every single one was charged with gang assault, assault on a police officer, obstruction of justice, and disorderly conduct. So that's what they came into the precinct with. Now, what they ultimately were charged with, unfortunately, the highest charge that I see for everybody is assault in the second degree. So that's already a lower felony than gang assault and certainly attack on a police officer. So based on that, it also looks as though that the prosecutor may have just tried to put forward some form of a bail package, whether it was monetary or some element of confinement, but whatever that was put forward, it was negated, and they all just got released on recognizance.
Let me tell you how this works, because I've watched them. First off, I'm very familiar with second-degree assault. You are correct. It is a much lower charge than gang assault, because I've been charged with second-degree assault over the years. It is when you cause serious injury to a person, and you do, in fact, cause that injury, like breaking the guy's arm, and you then try to do it to a third person. I plead guilty. I did it a few times. And the cops pinched me, and this was against gangbangers, drug dealers alike, when the cops were arresting me like every other day. I know that charge. I would tell the sergeant, it's second-degree assault, right? Yeah, you know it. Okay, so we're familiar. Gang assault, a much more serious charge. So I'm going to tell you how it works now. The cops make the collar. They arrested the first four. They bring them down to the precinct. Do you know who the first call goes to?
No, who's that?
NYPD Legal. They have more lawyers now at one police plaza than sometimes they do cops. A cop can't do their job. Everything, and when it comes to being an illegal alien, a migrant, nothing. An average cop, a desk sergeant, a deputy inspector who's in charge of the precinct cannot make the decision. Right away, the phone call goes to NYPD Legal. And these guys have their orders from City Hall. What? Migrant? Illegal alien? Cut them loose. Cut them loose. They are untouchables. Because if you hit them with serious charges, it's going to make it look like their host, Eric Adams, who invited them here, has put them up in hotels in Times Square, $400 a night, culturally appropriate food, smartphones, iPhones, health insurance, the whole 9 yards. It's going to make like the mayor made a serious mistake.
Yeah, and some of the rationale as to why they supposedly decided to drop down some of the charges is because, obviously it's going to be harder to, they're saying it's going to be harder to prove that some of these people did it, so maybe we can only show two, so then it wouldn't qualify for gang assault. First of all, you had a great video. I mean, it was on point, and you're in an area that has a lot of cameras, so when you have an assault on a cop, you would think that they would be scouring the area right away to get all the local cameras so that if there's a concern that this person's going to get off the hook because you didn't have a great, video the first time around, you would prioritize that, not say, well, this could be difficult, let's just let him off. That's not what you do.
Not only that, they stole one of the cops' cell phones. So right there, that's a serious charge. God forbid they had reached for the revolvers, which were easy to grab. You saw the cops were struggling with them on the ground. Easy to grab.
And they're all being represented by legal aid, FYI, so
Oh, so we're paying for that too.
absolutely.
Secondarily, and the mayor has not made comment on this. You notice everybody is commenting. Kathy Hochul's taking the lead on this. Lock them up, deport them, right? Not even, put them through the criminal judge. Deport them all. Where's the mayor on this? Saying nothing because Alvin Bragg, the DA, is his very dear friend. And in honor of Bernard McGurk, who is no longer with us, when he was alive, would said, even in his last waning days, every time he was on the air, he would say, Eric Adams never names and shames Alvin Bragg. Never has, from the very beginning. And what was the first thing Alvin Bragg did? He issued a memorandum to all of his assistant district attorneys, Manhattan District Attorney's Office. You will not prosecute for resisting arrest. That is a not prosecuting offense. You will not prosecute. He was bold and brazen about it. So now all the thugs know, hey, we ain't going to jail for resisting arrest.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be hard to try and have people come into the fold of the NYPD when you see that they get beat up and they don't even have their backs, the DA's office.
And you won't even give them a nightstick.
And in terms of why they would let them release on their own recognizance, now, the reasons why, you go into like the bail factors and why is someone allowed to leave, it's usually because they have certain elements of ties with the community. So there's a reason to think they're not a flight risk. So like, for instance, they have a local job, they have family within the community, they have a home, renting, things like that would establish it would be detrimental for them to just fly the coop. None of these people have any ties to the community. So right there, that should have been a reason not to release them.
Well, I need you to do the deep dive because legal aid, each one had a different legal aid attorney. I will bet you when it came down to the question of what ties do they have to the community, probably each of their attorneys said, well, Eric Adams is their host. He invited them here. He takes care of them with taxpayer dollars. And he has basically ordered the police department to turn them into untouchables, that they may not be hit with serious charges because it'll be a really negative reflection on him. And he won't even allow the cops to have their nightsticks back to hit them, to give them a wooden shampoo, crack them in the kneecaps, in the shins, so that they limp up the block and the rest of the police could drag them and pull them into the hoosegow right away.
And in terms of this transportation, how they took the bus out of the system, they're saying, well, maybe what they did was they gave false names. What would be the difference? You don't get prosecuted anyway. They could give their real names. It wouldn't have stopped them from getting on this bus.
This is what they did. All of the illegals now know. You take the John Rocker Express, which is right down 42nd Street, the number 7 train. You go to 82nd Street Junction Boulevard in the heart of Corona Elmhurst, and they openly sell for everyone there illegal papers. So Jose, Diego, whatever their names are from Venezuela, they learn very quick. Take the John Rocker Express, the number 7 train, get off at 82nd Street Junction Boulevard. They sell them right on tables. What do you need? Social Security card? You need identification. You need passport from Venezuela. What do you need? And if you got the money, you wait right there. In an hour, they come back and you're good to go. They all know that now. So it says here, Nancy, and this is where you're going to have to do the other big deep dive, that apparently a religious nonprofit, Catholic Charities, a religious nonprofit provided them with the bus tickets for them to go to California, didn't even check to see if it was valid ID, but Greyhound doesn't. All you got to do, you show the driver, right? You show because the ticket's already purchased. You think the driver is checking you out when you're boarding? Now get on here. And hey, I don't want to hear you because I don't understand the language you speak. Just shut up, and I'll let you know what's going on. That's the way those bus drivers are. So what are the potential religious nonprofits who take off federal tax dollars and give it to the illegal aliens to basically go all over the country wherever they want to go?
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to have to do the deep dive on this, but I've identified close to 30, but they're from a vast array of different, religious leanings. So, for instance, the Jewish faith, Lutheran, Seventh-day Advent, Adventist, Catholic, and non-denominational evangelical organizations are all in this mix. So I have to kind of look a little deeper.
Well, see, the Seventh-day Adventists would indicate they cannot travel on Saturday.
All right, so that's out the
That's
mix.
the Sabbath, right? No. The other 6 days, it's okay. I noticed the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, they're not in on this scam, are they?
They have kept out of this.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is not their church's money or their synagogue's money. This is federal taxpayer money. This is our money that the Biden administration gives to them to take care of the illegal aliens that Papa Chulo Joe Biden has invited in and that Eric Adams has said, I'll be your host. I would bet you it's Catholic Charities. So, look, I realize you told me don't indict Catholic Charities yet because you want to do the deep dive. We will be back Sunday with the deep dive of Nancy Sliwa and yours truly, Curtis Sliwa, right after I'm on with Andrew Giuliani. It's 9 to 10. And then we do the animal welfare hour from 10 to 11. So you got a lot of work to do between now and Sunday night, 9 to 10, because we need to expose all these thieves who are taking our tax dollars and funding much-scale criminal, migrant, illegal aliens, asylum seekers, undocumented aliens, whatever you want to call them, who attack our police.